Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. We talk about the craziness of leftism in America and worldwide. It is a cancer not only on American society, but on world society. And thank goodness we are finally beginning to get some sanity back. And in a country that people have to pay attention to. Because, see, people don't, when we look at other countries and, oh, we're going to be bringing in tons of new terrorists into our country, even open borders and all that, we don't have to follow that nonsense. And by the way, nobody else, people, oh, Paris did it. Okay, look at what Paris is. They call it Parisistan. Parisistan. That's what Paris is called. No-go zones. All over the world. They were, not too long ago, they were talking about Norway, because President Trump mentioned it as, let's bring in some more Norwegians, as opposed to these crap hole countries. And everybody was talking about how great Norway is. Norway is overrun with Muslims. The Sweden, Norway, Finland, all of them, they are suffering under the lunacy that they can culturalize these Muslims. Every crime statistic has gone through the roof, you name it. Same with London, Germany, pick your city in Germany, you name it. It's all throughout the UK, Germany, France, Switzerland, all of it. Not Switzerland, not so much, because they said we're not going to do this. And it's just the truth. And if you say that, people get upset. Well, people always say to me, Kevin, I sure so wish I could say the things that you say, but you're black, and talking about black issues. I'm not talking about black issues now, am I? I'm talking about Muslim issues and multiculturalization in multiple countries. And you know what I'm saying? I'm saying the same thing. I'm not British, but I can be mad that London is Londonistan. That's what it's become. We played a clip not long ago. Did we have that clip of what's his name, Sadiq Hassan or something like that? Get that ready, because I want to show that. I want to play that clip and tell you what he says about London, because he called it a crap hole at the end. But it doesn't matter where you go. All these cities are suffering from the same things, and it's all blamed on one simple thing: the influx of Muslims. You got it? Okay, let's play that.
I'd just like to get your thoughts on the fact that President Trump has said that he's not going to be coming to the United Kingdom to open the US embassy.
Yes, well, I don't blame him. You have a situation whereby Sadiq Khan, as the mayor of London, has really been tub-thumping, trying to get President Trump not to attend. Said multiple times he's not welcome in the capital, really fomenting a situation where you might have some riots or street protests if the president came to open that embassy. By the way, I think the president's wrong when he says that the embassy in South London is a bad deal. I think firstly, it wasn't Obama who approved that embassy. It was George W. Bush who approved that embassy. Secondly, it didn't cost the American taxpayer anything, because they actually sold off a bunch of buildings to pay for it. So I think he is wrong on that. I think he should have come out and told the honest truth, which is that he doesn't particularly want to visit Sadiq Khan's London, which is the acid attack capital of the world per capita, where you have in the last year soaring knife crime, soaring burglary, soaring rape, soaring youth homicide. And Sadiq Khan seems to be concerning himself more with matters of state, which he isn't elected to do, than actually solving the situation of crime in London. And it is soaring. And I have to say this, and you'll excuse me for being churlish about it, but places like Sky News and the BBC and all the best and brightest journalists in the country are not covering this.
What do you mean?
Well,
every single day we are covering stories about whether it's knife crimes or attacks, where they happen up and down the country. What proof do you have?
So Gamal, what's the well, the proof is, can you answer me? What's the at what rate did knife crime go up by in London last year?
I'm asking you. I'm interviewing you. What proof
I know.
Do you have?
Well, I know it's not great with the shoes on the other foot. Do you know how much youth homicide went up by in London last year? Have you told your viewers that 70%? Have you looked at the mayoral's police and crime report from December the 12th? You look at that. Almost every single measure out of 42, only 4 of them in 4 categories did crime go down. In every single other area, double-digit rises in crime across London. So you know what? To borrow a phrase from Donald Trump, London's turning into a shithole under Sadiq Khan.
Welcome back, everybody. Very true. What that gentleman said from Breitbart, so true. And by the way, it's not true just of London. It's true of every place I've described. Every one of these countries is dealing with this issue. And now the question is, when does it get to the point where you've reached the tipping point where you can't go back the other way? I don't know. Not for me to answer. But here's the reason why I brought this up is the European Union has decided it's going to sue countries who refuse refugees. If there's ever a reason to say, I don't want to be part of your group, this is it. I mean, the Muslims have effectively won in that sense, because I think they call when you want to pay, you have to pay that fee to avoid being taken over by Muslims. It's called jizya. Well, that's what it is. You want to be part of the EU and reject terrorism, it'll come at a price. See, Muhammad established this jizya thing. Other religions have to pay a poll tax to Muslims as a reminder of their, here it comes, folks, inferior status. It's funny, you never hear leftists talk about a religion that says there are people who have an inferior status. We're all supposed to be equal under the law, equal under God, whatever. And in the Quran, it states there are people that are inferior to you. Anybody else that doesn't practice your religion. Yeah. It abrogates an earlier verse that says there's no compulsion in religion. And it destroys any pretense that Islam is merely a religion and not a political system. Islam is meant to take over the world and use your own laws against you. And that's exactly what it's doing. They've taken over Europe without firing a shot. EU Commission took the Czech Republic, Hungary, Poland to European Court of Justice, the EJC, over failure to accept their quotas for refugees. And you wonder why UK said, we want a Brexit. Britain said, we're Brexiting. We're out of here. I'm reading this now. It says, the contentious scheme, which was adopted at the height of the refugee crisis in 2015, was focused on, quote, burden sharing. Finally, somebody actually calls it what it is, meaning that 160,000 refugees should be relocated across most of the bloc's 28 member states to ease the burden on Greece and Italy. These people were all landing, they took up the Mediterranean and said, okay, here's the first place we landed. And Greece and Italy said, hey, look, we've got all we can take. So 3 Eastern nations would have to settle around 8,000 migrants between them as part of the quota. But so far, Hungary and Poland have taken in none. Czech Republic accepted 12. Still a cancer. It's a small spot right now, but it's still a cancer. These 3 countries smartly rejected the New World Order, which has effectively spread terrorism all over the globe. By the way, in Poland, you want to know how many terror attacks there have been in like the last decade? You want to know? You want to take a guess? I'll tell you this. It's less than 10. So here's what I want you. Tell me how many you think it is and how many fatalities. It's less than 10. You say 3? What do you say? You say 3 as well? Okay. 1 attack, 0 fatalities in Poland. It was a knife attack. No fatalities. That's it. A police officer sustained moderate facial injuries after he was stabbed by an Israeli jihadist at the Allah Los concert in Warsaw. The attacker was subdued and reportedly shouted Allahu Akbar. Now they say he's Israeli. He's not Israeli. He's a Muslim, an Arab from Israel. They said the incident followed an attempted attack in Rotterdam the day before at another venue that the band were playing at. The Czech Republic has incurred no Muslim attacks, and neither has Hungary. So here's the interesting thing, kiddies. All the countries that have rejected Muslims have had no terror attacks. Ironically, however, wherever there exist large groups of Muslims, there are many terror attacks. Now, I know the left will say, Kevin, that's purely coincidental. There's nothing that you could point to that would say that where there are Muslims, there is terror. Where there are no Muslims, there is no terror. Except what I just told you. Only a brain-dead moron would believe that the reason why we aren't experiencing exponentially more terror around the world is because of the spread of Muslims. This year, well, not this year, last year, by the way, Happy New Year. I forgot to tell you guys this. We had over 1,000 terror attacks in the name of Islam. 1,000. Another source said there were over 2,000 terror attacks in 2017. Look, during this time period, there were 1,930. This is what 2017. This reports that there were 1,930 attacks in 59 countries, in which 15,000 plus people were killed, 13,000, almost 14,000 were injured, and that's what they can document. There's been many more. So for the leftists that don't get it, no Muslims, no radical Islamic attacks. Sadly, Muslims aren't even safe in their own homes. And so you wonder why Donald Trump talks about crap hole countries. We got it. I got it.
Kevin Jackson on the Black Sphere Radio Network.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.